Hey, so since 4th of July is over and Halloween is next, today is a perfect day to dissect Pennywise. So now there is Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård who did the same terrifying clown, but two very different versions. So let's talk about them. I have to point this out. For those of you that haven't seen it yet, these are two pictures of Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård. Can we just appreciate how much they actually look alike? Whether they intentionally did that or not, I was sold on that. When there was a new It that came out, I was excited because it's the story of Pennywise essentially. It's something that we all love. Is love the right word for Pennywise, a terrifying clown? Could be. Let's just go with love. But I was excited to see what was going to be done, and I watched the trailer, and I judgingly watched it. I was like, I don't know. He doesn't have makeup like that. I don't understand why he looks that way. He doesn't look that way. But I'll watch it because it's Pennywise. It's it. I'll watch it. I'll give it a chance. And I did. I watched the first one in the theater, I watched the second one in the theater, and overall I did like it, despite the differences. I did like it. The laugh has never grown on me though. I think it's because Tim Curry had that deep, scary voice for Pennywise. You float dog! And hearing a high pitched giggle just didn't sit with me. Thinking about it now, I feel like if he did Pennywise exactly like Tim Curry did it, I don't know. It's hard to say whether I would like that better or not. I guess it's good there's differences because, in a way, Pennywise was somewhat hibernating for 27 years and he wouldn't come out the same, right? I don't know. So I rewatched both of them before I did this video. I rewatched the new ones first, and then I went to the miniseries. I feel like I have to come out and say who my favorite Pennywise is. It may be kind of obvious, but it's him. I mean, how can it not be? Tim Curry did an amazing job. And maybe it was because I grew up in that generation. He was Pennywise to me, to take a phrase from Norm Macdonald. It's a generational thing.
It's a generational thing.
So when I think Pennywise, it's automatically him. I don't know if everyone feels that way. So I do love how they recreated it. And so Tim Curry was starting to tell stories about when he was Pennywise, and this is one of my favorite moments.
There was a point in it, at the beginning of the movie, this little kid called Georgie is sailing his paper boat down a gutter and it goes down the drain and Pennywise grabs it and Georgie puts his hand down the drain and I grab it and I suggest that he joins me and say, down here, afloat. And he stopped and said, Tim. Yeah? You're scary. I said, gee, I'm so sorry, but that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
I think this child has been in therapy for years since.
I hope so. I think you need it quite a lot.
It literally hurts my heart to know that he had a stroke, but seeing him up there, seeing him talk to the audience, trying to channel that Pennywise voice again, which was amazing. It's so creepy how he can still do that. That made me so happy to see. So getting him out back in the news made a new It so worth it. So Bill Skarsgård took it into a completely different direction, which he came out and said that he wasn't going to recreate Tim Curry's version.
I tried to just, obviously Tim Curry did this iconic performance of Pennywise, and we were remaking it, and I got to fill, you know, these huge clown shoes, and they're big shoes to fill.
That's not easy.
No.
Not easy.
So we were like, okay, how can we make this different?
He knew he was going to do something different, which is cool. He didn't want to try and replace him. I like that. I will say this. There are some things in the newer version that the mini-series with Tim Curry didn't do. Little bits of Pennywise that were different. Like I noticed, which really creeped me out, which kind of magnified what Pennywise really was, the creepy clown that he was, is the new Pennywise, he would drool. I was watching that and I'm like, that was creepy. So there are things that he did that Tim Curry didn't, and things that Tim Curry didn't that Bill Skarsgård didn't do. But if you put them all together, there was one creepy clown. So they both did a really good job, I think. And it just depends on, I think, your age group for who you like the best. The thing that kind of makes me sad, so this guy, I held him up earlier like I've had him for years. I really haven't. If I'm going to say the truth, I literally just got him. So I realized, shamefully, I don't have much merchandise with Pennywise. While editing later, I realized that's not necessarily true. This is what I mean. I shouldn't say I don't have any merchandise. What I meant by that is I don't have anything of Pennywise. So I do have a couple things. I have this keychain of Georgie that I got from a friend of mine. And I also have a mug that my sister got me. And it's pretty amazing. It's one of those mugs that when you fill it with hot coffee, I mean with me it's coffee, it turns into an it mug. So it's normally just black, but it's this. And all around it, it says, "You'll float too." So I have these. So it's not like I have nothing. Okay, now back to it. And I knew I was going to make this video, and I'm like, well, I want something of his now. Rewatching both versions, which is a lot of hours of a scary clown. If you think about chapter 1, chapter 2, and the miniseries, that's a good 8 hours of Pennywise I watched in the last week, which is also why I didn't do a video last week. I was preparing for this video. But after I watched them, I was full head on into this world. And I thought, wait a minute, how can I not have anything on Pennywise? I don't have a t-shirt, which I really want to look for a t-shirt. But I wanted something of Tim Curry's Pennywise. And this guy, I found him right when I started looking for him. The day I decided I wanted something, I found him. He was meant to be mine. And I know I'm very pro Tim Curry in this video, and I'm sorry for everyone who loves the newer version of it. But if 27 years from now they make another one and it's a different guy doing your favorite clown, maybe you'll understand kind of where I'm coming from when I talk about Tim Curry. Just please do me a favor, for all of you who haven't watched the miniseries, to watch the miniseries to see what I'm talking about. And I know Stephen King must have liked it because he did make a cameo in chapter 2. And for those of you who don't know, there is a little cameo by someone else. Remember Ben in the miniseries? Not John Ritter Ben, but the kid Ben. This kid, he made a cameo in chapter 2, which was amazing. And at first it didn't really click right away with me, but I kind of looked closer at him, and the face looked really familiar, and it hit me all at once, and I'm like, oh, that is amazing. So that's what I love. Not to say I don't love Bill Skarsgård. He did an amazing job with Pennywise. He's not Tim Curry. I'm sure he knew there would be a lot of people feeling that way, but I imagine he, like Tim Curry, just wanted to make this character come to life. Because when does scary clowns not terrify people? And I feel like I should talk about the book a little bit that this whole movie is based off of, that this whole world is based off of, where this new craze came back up because, and this, oh, before I even get into that, this is what I really love. So, in the mini series, when I watched it back, I noticed that the year was different. They say 30 years he comes back, which isn't true. In the book, it's 27 years. In the newer version, they say 27 years. So there's things that they did cover, or they covered differently, or they covered that the miniseries didn't even touch, which I could swore, unless I blinked or was doing something else, which I think maybe this is a perfect excuse to watch a miniseries again, but I could have swore they had the cast scene in the miniseries where it was loser and then they changed it with a V. Is that not in there? Did I blink when I rewatched it? Was that all in my head, or was that in the book and I imagined it and I saw it for the first time with the new version? I need to watch the miniseries again. I think I just found my excuse to rewatch it. But anyway, what was I saying? I completely forgot. Oh, yes, okay. So in the book, they say 27 years. If you look at the dates that these two that I'm talking about were released, the miniseries 1990, the new It 2017, 27 years. That was my favorite thing about it coming back 27 years later. It was in real life time and it was amazing. And then I realized while I was rewatching the miniseries, you know how Richie sees his dates? Like he sees his own grave kind of thing. Like he died when he comes back. Yeah. As of last month, I was the same age. So it seemed like I literally grew up with the losers. Maybe that's why I cherish it so much. It's like watching old friends grow up in a weird way. And I know I'm totally going off the tangent of Pennywise, but it's still it, so I think it still counts. Honestly, you guys, I feel like I have all these extra thoughts. So this video may be, for me, in real time, broken up in 2 different days, but for you, all at the same time, you just may see me in different clothes. So, I'll be back. I'll be back for part 2. See what I did there? Should I say chapter 2? So chapter 2 is going to cover the book and the losers, because even though they aren't Pennywise, they are a big piece of the story. But I do want to clarify one thing. So I know I was very heavy pro Tim Curry in the first chapter of this video, and it made it sound like I didn't like the new one. I do. I own both of them. And when there is a photo opportunity, I do take a picture with him. And I didn't realize until after I saw this picture, but his hand looks like it's about to attack me. Like it looks like he's about to grab me and do harm to me because he is Pennywise. And I'm smiling. I don't know what that says about me, but I took the opportunity to take a picture with him. And this animatronic I love, and if I had the room and if I had the money to purchase it, I probably would have. So I'm not against Bill Skarsgård in any way. But I do have to say one more thing. I heard rumors that there's going to be an It 3. That I think I'm against. Because there isn't Chapter 3. The miniseries pretty much ended where Chapter 2 ended in the newer versions. There is no more story. So I'm a little afraid of what that is going to look like. So that I'm not all for. Bill Skarsgård or not, I have a bad feeling it's going to be a clown movie and they're going to put Pennywise somewhere in there. That's what I think it's going to turn into. Whenever movies do this, like there was a second Pet Cemetery, didn't like it. There was a second Sometimes They Come Back, didn't like it. If Stephen King didn't write it, if wasn't total hands on with it, it just didn't appeal to me. It 3 doesn't sound like a good idea to me. So now that that's all said and done, the losers. Finding out who was gonna be who, the kid version of who, the adult version of who, was so much fun. I remember my sister and I looking it up. I remember the moment we found out that Bill Hader was going to be the adult Richie. And we were so excited. We're like, of course it's going to be Bill Hader. Who else could play him besides Harry? No, Harry. That was a lot of fun. And even though I have no idea who the actor was that played Ben, the adult Ben, John Ritter are pretty big shoes to fill for me. I love John Ritter. But he was good. Everyone was good. I have no complaints with the new losers. I think they all did a great job. Kid version and adult version. Love them. I just overall love the losers. So now, the book. This monster of a book. No pun intended. So, this thing, I don't know if it was because I read this after I watched the miniseries, so I already knew the story. I don't know if that's why I read it in 2 weeks, but I read it in 2 weeks. I literally did nothing else but read this giant book. I devoured it. I could not stop reading it. And those of you that have read it know everything that's in here. You know the scene that neither the miniseries or the movies covered, probably for the best. You know everything. So going over it seems kind of not pointless, but if you've watched the miniseries and the movies, you know the general story. But I do highly recommend the book because watching them is great. But Stephen King has so much detail in it, so there is a little story behind this book. So I obviously had no problems going through it, but my mom has this story that she came across the book. She knew it was Stephen King. She knew it was about a clown. She thought, okay, I'm going to start reading it. She got like a page in and she decided, no, this isn't for me. So she gave it to my grandma. I called her Grandmama. She was my mom's mom, who also loved to read. And she said, yeah, I'll go ahead and read it. And my mom was like, because my mom was going to get rid of it. And she's like, well, give it to me. I'll read it. And my mom was a little hesitant. She's like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'll read it. And so my mom said that she asked her a while later if she finished the book. She's like, oh, yeah, I liked it. It was good. I love my grandmama. I lost her a few years ago, but I love her for that story. I shouldn't say for that story. I love her even more for that story. That she read this book and she liked it. I am so tempted to reread it, but I do have a lot of books, Stephen King's included, that I still need to read. But I will reread this someday, and you will probably hear about it. I want to. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I dive back in? I feel like I should dive back in. What I do love about this book, and I think it was because I watched the miniseries already, is I could kind of picture them in my head. And I think that's why I went through it so fast, because I knew them already. I don't know what to say about it because it's so good. You can either read it and enjoy it, or, like my mom, get a few pages in and be terrified and never want to pick it up again. For me, I read it and enjoyed it, and I may reread it. I feel like that's all I can really say about the book. So the question is, with this video, and thank you for everyone who stuck around to this part of it, who's your favorite Pennywise? Have you read the book? What do you think of it? Do you like Tim Curry or Bill Skarsgård, or are you torn because they both did amazing jobs? What do you think? What's your favorite parts about each of them?